Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. I'm back. It's Glazer, it's Snap Judgment, and you know what that means. Four brand new decks for you, including the return of an all time great, two decks for Infinity Ultron, the two best decks found on day one, and of course, a completely out of nowhere Blue Tears deck. Blue Tears won the last tournament we held, Snap Judgments League, a major tournament with hundreds of players, and Blue Tears won it. He tanked his rank out a little bit testing decks and then got it back with this one. This is a take on the recent Ajax lists that feature a lot of powerful cards. And in that Ajax spot, instead of running Ajax, we're running an Annihilus package, an old school Annihilus package, saying if I can do my Annihilus shenanigans right at the end of the game, instead of dropping an Ajax, we should be able to either Annihilus or Cersei at the end. Incredible power. Blue Tears is the creator of this deck, so huge props here. This deck needs High Evolutionary, Annihilus, Cersei, and Sam Wilson. None of those are replaceable. Silver Sable here can be Iceman. You don't lose two very much for that. And Rock and Groot can be Nocturne or Jeff. You want to make sure it's a mover. We'll go over why those are as we talk about the cards. So your Annihilus package is the Hood, Annihilus, and Sentry. Those three cards go together. You can just play them regularly, and if your opponent doesn't fill the right lane, you end up with like a 20-something power Annihilus play on turn 5. It's amazing. If they are going to fill the right lane, well, Cersei takes care of that. You get a free 5-cost card, also an incredibly powerful place to be. Silver Sable is just a decent power card. It's a 1-2 fundamentally in this deck. It's not remotely important. It's just good stats. It plays as a 1-4 if they play that card, and that disruption could hit something important, especially with all of a sudden Brood all over the place. Hazmat is here for one very particular reason. Well, I guess sort of two. It gives the negatives that you give to your opponents a little bit of extra power, but it also makes your Abomination very often free, and free Abomination is the name of the game here. Sam Wilson is not replaceable for a very simple reason. You are trying to, for Sam Wilson, make your Miles Morales cost 1 around the last turn of the game. Because you have the Demon in this deck, you can do with either one of those as a 1-6 at the end and play another one of those as a 1-6 at an earlier point, and that should work totally fine. But having a 2-8 that gives you access to an extra 1-6 is really nice. Scorpion is here as sort of your backup hazmat. Sometimes they'll just play enough cards to make Abomination really worth it between Scorpion and Rocket and Groot. Rocket and Groot ties the two game plans here together, giving negative power for the cheap Abomination, while also making Miles Morales potentially a 1-6. Miles as a 1-6 is incredibly important, as we'll go over momentarily when we talk about the last turn of the game. High Evolutionary here is the cost of getting Abomination, but a 4-7 isn't terrible stats. 4-9 for Sentry is like one of the key cards in the deck. If you can get Sentry going and you have Annihilus or Cersei with any of your other combos, you should be able to snap fairly aggressively, and that's how you win cubes with this. Sending the opponent a -9 turns Sentry into a 4-18, turning it into a 5-drop unless it's Hobgoblin is almost always a really, really good shout. As far as Cersei goes, everything here really does work together. You don't want to Annihilus or Cersei on turn 5. They are your turn 6 play. You are playing one of them along with Free Abomination and one of your two 1-6s, whether that be Miles or the Hood. That is your goal for the last turn of the game as this massive power spike. Good. You are playing 15 power worth of card, I guess, plus the 7. So you are playing 22 power worth of your own cards, and then you're doing something with that Void and with that Hood as well in the process. So everything here should really, really work together, which means Annihilus and Cersei are absolute requirements. At the end, on turn 5, what you want to do in order to make sure you can get that Abomination out is what you're going to want to play Hazmat and other cards that are important. All right, so this is inspired by the Ajax list that Rorm and Cougar are playing. This basically plays off the idea that when the opponents see a lot of what you're doing, they're going to think you're a version of that Rorm list, the recent list that's been around that we've covered multiple times that does the same thing as this list, except uses Ajax in the 5 spot. So people will think you're playing that, and as you do, you get extra advantage. Turn 1, you want Hood. Turn 2, you want over Silver Sable. Turn 2, you want Sam over Scorpion, which is better than a 1. Turn 3, Rocket and Groot is better than 2 or 2+1. Turn 4, you want Sentry. Sentry is one of your key cards here. He is a snap condition in and of himself, assuming you have either of the cards that pay him off. Anytime you see a name written in white on the slideshow, it means that they're often a snap condition. If not, you can go with a 2+2 here. If they've played enough cards to make Abomination cheap or free, they fairly often have played 5 cards by turn 4. Feel free to Hazmat. Turn 5, Hazmat and whatever else, move a card. If you manage to get that Hazmat off, by the way, on turn 4, you can feel free to Sentry in 1 on turn 5. So Hazmat, whatever else, and move a card on turn 5. If you know they can't fill that right location for whatever reason, Annihilus is perfectly fine here. But your goal is to go Cersei or Annie, along with Miles or a Demon and Abomination at the end of the game. If you can get that combo off, that's a snap, that's a win. Enjoy your cubes. Plops? Indeed, plops to blue tiers. Sorry, went away for a few days, forgot words. Props to blue tiers for this really cool deck. Before we go to the Infinity Ultron decks, I want to ask you to please hit that sub, like, and comment if you're willing to. It would mean the absolute world if you were willing to give us that extra bit of support. In return, we'll give you at least 7 days a week of Marvel Snap videos. Very often, most weeks, honestly, we do either 8 or 9 videos. If you want the most thorough Marvel Snap coverage in the game, we did a bundle guide a few days ago. We cover tournaments, we cover everything in the game, decks that no one else does exclusively. Please hit that sub if you're inclined to. We are also giving away a season pass this week. I'm going to give away, this will be your last warning. If you leave comments on last week's video, I will give away a season pass. I'm also going to give away a season pass just for the first half of this week. Since I was away, it's going to be like my hey, I'm back thing. So I'm giving away a Captain Carter. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. Your comment enters you to win that season pass. And on April 21st, that's coming up soon, we have the next iteration of the Snap Judgments League. That is $500 in prizes. All you have to do, if you want more information, is join the Discord linked in the description to this video. I'll be playing, so if you've ever wanted to play against me, this is your chance. We are sponsored by TopDeck.gg, who run amazing tournaments and are helping us out with this one. So please do go check out TopDeck.gg if you are willing to run or wanting to run any kind of tournament. And come check out Snap Judgments League with the link in the description to this video in the Discord. Cool? All right, Infinity Ultron is the 5/6. On reveal, add 2 of Ultron stones to your hand. Turns out the stones are better than I thought. They work overall pretty well. Some combinations, more combinations than I would expect, are very powerful. But Infinity Ultron is a ramp card. You are running it in decks almost exclusively that can ramp into him. I'm going to say right now, I don't think if you didn't buy Luna Snow's bundle, or you're not planning on getting Luna Snow next week, that you should get Infinity Ultron. Almost every good Infinity Ultron deck is going to want to be a Luna Snow list. I didn't like this card when I first started playing it. I came home from my trip. I played a little bit on stream. I hated it, and then I started warming up to it a little bit toward the end as I played better decks. And then I went to the movies with my wife, and I came home. And when I came home, I played a little more, and I started to feel like it was better. I just think it really has to be in heavy ramp decks. So unless you're running Luna Snow ramp decks, this isn't going to be the card for you. If you are, I think it could be decent. I'm going to get top player thoughts for you tomorrow, as I always do, in order to help you make a more informed decision. So no rush at all. All right, so the first deck we're going to talk about is the 69% win rate deck. Toxic Soul King played this until what seems to be 5 in the morning to his time. Go with a 69% win rate. So this is like a real sample good deck. This is a Agamotto Kahori Galactolus that's also running Infinity Ultron. So Kahori has some extra synergy with Infinity Ultron here, obviously, because Infinity Ultron puts 2 cards in your hand, so does Agent Coulson. Those cards are made cheaper by Quinjet, so are Agamotto spells. So you see the cross synergy here, hopefully. This all makes sense to you. Luna lets you ramp into the Infinity Ultron or the Agamotto, or gets you some extra power with some spells. All of this really does work well together. Anyone who's been watching a while knows that lately this has been my type of list. I really do enjoy the Season Passler style Agamotto list, and this is an iteration of that that's proved very successful. You should check out the creator of this list, one of my favorite people in this whole community, at twitch.tv/ToxicSoulKing. This deck needs Ultron, Agamotto, Galacta, and Luna. Those 4 are your absolute requirements. I don't think you run Agamotto decks without Galacta. I think Agamotto is incredibly important as your second ramp card here, and Luna is how you ramp to Ultron. I think those 2 are going to be married in much the same way that you very rarely see a Victoria hand list without Kate Bishop. Gorgon, Salmon Iron Patriot are just the best in slot cards. Cable, Adam Warlock, Mirage, and Quake are your go-to replacements there. You can also feel free to try like a Scarlet Witch or a card along those lines. Kahori here can be Gwenpool. Gwenpool is better in some versions. Because you're adding cards to your hand, Kahori is better than Gwenpool here. All right, so let's go card by card. So Quinjet has a lot of targets here, making the Iron Patriot card cheaper, the Agent Coulson card cheaper, the Agamotto card cheaper, and the Infinity Ultron card cheaper. That is incredibly powerful for the Quinjet. That's a lot of stuff it does. Zabu has what looks like three targets, but what it actually has is four targets. It has Shang-Chi, Galacta, Kahori, and the Images of Icon spell. Any of those for three is incredibly, incredibly powerful. In particular, Galacta on three is often a game-winning snap condition. Gorgon is here because, well, everyone's testing out the new card Infinity Ultron, and Gorgon is incredibly annoying for those decks. But the other thing Gorgon does is one of the most popular decks in the game right now is Thanos. Thanos is all over the frickin' place. Gorgon giving you an answer for those is incredible. Iron Patriots here, you have Quinjet. Sometimes you win that location. You're running a 3/6 next turn. A cheap card is always powerful. Sam Wilson is a 2/8. The extra benefit of Sam Wilson, and he almost always has one, is with Images of Icon, you can turn his shield late game into an extra Kahori or Galacta, which is incredibly strong. I mean, you can turn it into an extra anything, but Kahori and Galacta tends to be what you're going for. Agent Coulson gives you just some extra cards, an extra use for Quinjet. A lot of what Toxic was having trouble with Agamotto was running out of cards to play, and Agent Coulson and Infinity Ultron do a good job at stopping that. Then we have Luna. Luna's here largely to ramp into Infinity Ultron, but as simple as playing Luna on three and then Galacta into Quinjet or Galacta into Zabu on four is worthwhile. Getting that extra +3 out of her is incredible. She ends up being a very useful card. Plus, a 3/6 is just a lot of stats. Power must be controlled, so Shang-Chi is in the deck. Galacta is one of the best cards in the game. Like, this is, again, running all the good old Season Pass cards. So in this case, Galacta being an incredibly useful one, especially, again, if you can get her out on turn 3 or turn 4 with an extra card. You have extra cards in hand, thanks to, again, Iron Patriot, Agent Coulson, and Infinity Ultron, so Kahori is often playing for a 4/11, 4/12, which is great. Infinity Ultron gives you unpredictability in this list. Not that you're like short on unpredictability, right? But all of a sudden, at the end of the game, you've got a Quinjet out, and you get the double Infinity Stone, and you drop a Kahori, right? That's crazy powerful. You can turn a closed lane, give it +2 power, give Ultron double his power. There's a lot of really cool stuff like that you can do. So Infinity Ultron's here. And Agamotto is the cost of doing business as far as getting access to spells. You will play a 5/10 once in a while, right? Like sometimes Iron Patriot or Coulson's going to give you, well, not Coulson, Iron Patriot's going to give you a Taskmaster, right? And then you're like, oh, I'll play a 13 to 16 power Agamotto and copy that. That seems like a really useful thing to do. So there's that kind of thing, right? But generally speaking, what you're trying to get access to is the Bolts of Balthak spell and the Images of Icon. I didn't really mention Bolts of Balthak here because you just sort of play it when you draw it and you have two good things to do. It's not super complicated. Generally speaking, on turn 4, if you can go Galacta and Kahori, that's amazing. If you want to play it on turn 3 into Galacta and Kahori, on turn 4 into like Infinity Ultron and Galacta. You can play it on turn 3 into Infinity Ultron and like Luna or Infinity Ultron and Coulson. Stuff like that is just real strong. So this had a 69% win rate in 40 games. Toxic has played more than 40 games, but that's all that's registered on Untap. But when Toxic checks his stats, it was still 69%. Nice. So turn 1, you want Zabu over Quinjet. If every 4 is in the deck, you can snap on Zabu, but be careful. There's a reasonable amount of Mobius floating around as the new card has come out. Turn 2 is Sam over Gorgon or Iron Patriot. Whichever of the two wins is perfectly fine. If you know your opponent has extra cards in the deck, Gorgon's amazing. If you feel like you have a strong follow-up of either Galacta or Luna for Iron Patriot, that's really good. And Sam is just safe power. Turn 3, Galacta over Luna, and either of those can be a snap condition, although be careful with Luna. Again, Red Guardian is a scary card. Or you can go Coulson or 2/1. Balthak starts making sense here. Turn 4, you can drop Ultron. You can also drop Galactus or Kahori, and either one of those with Icon is a snap condition. Galactic can be a snap condition without, Kahori less commonly is. Turn 5, Ultron Stone or Kahori, or Agamotto spells. Any of the above are fine. And then turn 6, Shang and generated cards plus. This list is awesome, and I cannot urge you to play it enough. Assuming you have access to the three key cards here of Luna, Galacta, and Infinity Ultron, and of course Agamotto. So if you have the cards that make this deck work, this is what we're looking at for Infinity Ultron. It seems like it's strong, but not cheap. Hey, come check out a stream. I'm not 100% sure what time I'll be streaming today. I want to try and get a nice long stream in. My son's going to the movies with my mother. I've got spring break, so I've got all the time in the world. But come check out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer, especially if you're someone who's always wanted to check it out, but couldn't. I should be live an awful lot today because I got the time. All right, so season pass question is what are your impressions of Infinity Ultron? So I'm going to tell you my initial impression was that this card was terrible, and as I played it more, it went up in my esteem. I think that this is a card with complicated homes, but homes right now. What do you think so far? All right, our next deck is Rorm All the Decks. So the reason I named this All the Decks, I don't know what the hell Rorm calls it, is you got Victoria Hand and Surfer and Frigga Sage shenanigans and Ravonna Iron Man shenanigans. People are going to get greedy and run Mystique in this too. Just wait for it. This list feels very good. It is also a very, very high win rate list. All the top players hopped into my stream. Rorm rated me after playing this, and all the top players that hang out in Rorm stream were like, "This is it. This is the best list." I tried this and the previous list. I am better with Agamotto type stuff than this type stuff, so I was better with the Agamotto. But this one felt really good. I took this into Gold Conquest and won a couple games in Gold Conquest, and I should probably play it some more. But yeah, we got to get to it. So the creator of this list is twitch.tv/Rorm Plays. Rorm is phenomenal, one of the top players in Marvel Snap, and definitely one of the top deck builders, as is Toxic Soul King. They're two people who should be significantly bigger. Go give them a follow. This deck needs Luna, Frigate, Sage, Victoria Hand, Moonstone, and Ravonna. This is disgustingly expensive. I'm very sorry. Ultron here can be Sarah. I actually have a weird feeling that this list might actually work better without Infinity Ultron. I'm not sure I actually give a shit about him in this list. So turn one, you want Quinjet. Sorry. So Quinjet is here. Sorry, turn one, you want Quinjet. Yikes. I'm telling you, how to practice. Give me a day. So Quinjet has a bunch of targets here. You have the Snow Guard stuff. You have the Infinity Ultron stuff. The other thing you have that's really, really good with Quinjet is whatever you frigga. And frigging Victoria Hand, Sage, sometimes even Iron Man, is crazy strong. Having extra access to all these cards with Frigga is huge, and making them cheaper with Quinjet is likewise huge. Quinjet also has some synergy of going under Moonstone and making those extra cards you copied be super cheap. Really good. Snowguard's amazing. I kept beating things with Snowguard because everyone's running Magic right now, and if you're running Magic and I'm playing Snowguard, then I'm way ahead. Being able to stop out Magic is very strong. This deck has a lot of strong meta matchups thanks to the card Snowguard getting rid of a bunch of Magic bullshit, and the card Mobius getting rid of a bunch of cost reduction bullshit. Ravonna is Quinjet, except well, it only really works for two cards in the deck. I guess it could work for Infinity Stones, but it is otherwise, really here for Sage and Iron Man. If you can get Ravonna and Quinjet under Moonstone, you can just do silly, silly things like Sage, copy it, and then play another Sage, all for like uh, a grand total of 5 energy. Ravonna is amazing. It's really, really amazing under Moonstone. Victoria Hand is great. Again, not a million targets here, right? The Infinity Ultron stones, the Snow Guard, the copy of Ravonna you get from Frigga, or whatever you get from Frigga, are your main targets here. But also, there's a lot of stuff that just puts cards in your hands in this game. I don't know if you noticed that, but Victoria Hand's really great for that. Sage is just amazing power at the end of the game. The double spell in particular from Ultron is silly with Sage, but like so is a lot of stuff. You can just get really big Sages and then surf for them, and copying Sage with Frigga is really good. It's also another card made cheaper by Ravonna. Mobius is here because the meta says so. Frigga is amazing. Again, we're looking largely at Victoria Hand and Sage here as our main targets. We're happy to hit other stuff, but that's really what we want to aim for. Luna gets us into our Iron Man and Infinity Ultron, which is very strong. Moonstone is again here for Ravonna, Victoria Hand, Quinjet. If you just get those under it, you should be happy. Iron Man, make big lane win. Infinity Ultron gives you the stones. The stones combined with Sage and Surfer for an awful lot of power. This has a 70% win rate in about 35 games. Again, I know this has more games, but Untapped hasn't fully registered them yet. Again, a lot of top players are playing this and saying that this one really, really does sing. Turn 1, you want Quinjet over Snowguard. Turn 2, Ravonna over Hand. And if you have Moonstone for Ravonna, that's probably a snap if you have any of the cards that works with. Turn 3, Frigga if Hand, and that can be a snap, but be wary. There's a lot of Enchantress around. You can regularly just play Luna, and you can play Mobius if you think it wins you the game. Turn 4, Moonstone on Ravonna is better than a 5-drop. If you can play a 5-drop, you're fine here. Turn 5, you play whichever the 5s make sense. If you think you might be going Surfer and you want to see what you can do with Ultron, then you can play Ultron. If not, Iron Man's fine. You can also do Sage and Frigga, which feels insanely strong, especially if you have Quinjet. Turn 6, combo off, 3s and Surfer, Hand and Moonstone, Iron Man and whatever. Enjoy yourself, get yo cubes. This one's cool. This is like 3 different decks in one, and they all intermingle thanks to a few key cards. Beautiful list, props to Rorm. Go play it, give it some love. Hey, if you'd like to see some gameplay from these lists and you don't want to check me out for whatever reason, check out the stream team. Today is Wednesday, so Game of Flash X should be on late at night to stream for you, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Next up, we've got Yo Wolfie MJ. Woody is back. This is the legendary Marvel Snap player who is back. Woody is one of the top ladder Marvel Snap players in all of the history of the game and won the most recent SnapCon tournament. So props to Woody for, being generally awesome. Very happy he's back, and he came back with this very powerful list. This is a almost standard Victoria hand list, except it's got a freaking werewolf and Kahori in it, so whatever. Really cool stuff. So you can find Woody at twitch.tv/YoWoodyMJ. This deck needs Werewolf, Misery, Victoria Hand, Kate, and Frigga. Victoria, Misery, sorry. Victoria Hand, Misery, Kate, and Frigga are a package. They almost every deck that runs those cards runs them in some sort of concert and needs all of them. Again, we had that one list that didn't run Kate previously because that was doing very different things, but generally speaking, most of the lists are going to run all four. Werewolf is your power scaler. He's your lane carry. If you don't have Nico, I think you're probably going to want to run Viper to deal with the Hood. Kahori can be Gwenpool, Iron Patriot can be Mirage. All right. So the Hood is here. Your main goal and how to deal with the Hood is to misery it. Then you get 2 demons, 212 in power is great. Nice and simple. Maria Hill gives you a nice 2-drop. There's enough good 2-drops in the game to make that worth it. Plus, it's a trigger for your Werewolf by Night, so pretty solid. Nico is how you handle the Hood. If you don't see misery, you either blow it up to draw 2, or you turn into a demon. You don't want to just play a -3 naked. That's really bad for you in terms of winning games, unless bar with no name or other nonsense. So Nico is your backup way to handle that while also having a few extra good spells. Kate's arrows are incredible at Victoria Hand and just generally really strong. Iron Patriots cards are incredible at Victoria Hand, and there is a combo. We call this the Burrs combo in honor of the person who told me about it. A top player named Burrs who's been busy studying. Hopefully you're doing well, Burrs. Haven't heard from you in a bit, so hopefully your studying is going very well. So what you want to do for this combo is, and obviously you have a million other combos, but when it works, you play Hood on 1 or 2. On turn 3, you play Iron Patriot and the Demon on that Hood location. Then on turn 4, you misery that. You now have a 14 power location because what's left in that location is misery and the demon, and you have an extra demon and potentially a cheap Iron Patriot card with another one coming. Very strong play. You'll love to see it. All right, Victoria Hand is a buff for the, let's go through it. Hood card, Maria Hill card, Kate cards, Iron Patriot cards. Cool. And Frigga, whatever Frigga makes. So really good stuff. Tons of power from that. Plus, it has the buff from, well, not the buff, the potential of being copied by Frigga. Juggernaut is your late game lane stealer. It's also, if your Iron Patriot card is oh my god amazing, then you can Juggernaut to make sure you win it. But generally speaking, it is your late game. They didn't fill the board. Crush. It's not as good now with Thanos everywhere, but Juggernaut's still one of the better cards in the game. Werewolf is just a giant power carry. There's not a lot of clog everywhere, but there are locations that can make him bad, and Scream can make him bad. If you see Scream, don't play him. But outside of that, he's just a lane carry against basically everything else. Frigga's meant to copy Victoria Hand, but she has several good targets. You're perfectly happy to copy a demon and several other cards, right? A good Maria Hill card. So enjoy Frigga that way. Shang is power must be controlled. You have a lot of card generation. Kahori plays as a 4/12. Feel free to do that. And then Misery is here for the Hood and Iron Patriot. You're also fine hitting Maria Hill as well. Clears you up some space, triggers your werewolf, lots of power. So again, welcome back to Woody. We missed you. Turn 1, Hood over Maria Hill. Turn 2, Victoria Hand over Iron Patriot or Kate. Victoria Hand can be a snap condition here because she's so strong. Iron Patriot, reminder, is a snap if you win fairly often. Turn 3, Frigga for Hand, or you can just drop the Werewolf. If good locations and lots of on reveals, Werewolf can be a snap. Iron Patriot and Demon is also a fine turn 3 play. We discussed that previously. Turn 4, Kahori or Misery. Turn 5, Misery or Kahori and a 1. You can also generate cards. Turn 6, Shang or Jugs, plus whatever demons and generate cards you got. Cool. Nico for this list is looking for to turn Demon or Destroy into Hood, Maria Hill, Kate, and Iron Patriot. Nico's copy is for Victoria Hand, Demon, a cheap Iron Patriot card, or even Juggernaut. Chef's Kiss, welcome back, Woody. Comes back, figures out how to create, how to modify a known list into something really cool and distinct. Welcome back. We missed it. All right, questions of the day. Our first question from a bunch of folks is, how was my trip? We went up to Niagara Falls. My son and wife had never seen it. I had seen it when I was a teenager or preteen, and not since. So we went up, and it was really, really majestic, but it was really, really majestic for like 2 hours. And our trip was supposed to be 2 days, and then we didn't really have much to do. There wasn't much to do. So we spent the day traveling around doing a little sightseeing. And then by the end of the first day, we were a little bit done, and we came home the next day. But it was still a nice trip. It's just, it didn't feel like there was an absolute ton to do up there. Maybe I'm losing it. Maybe I missed something. But the falls were beautiful, and then we were like, okay, but now what? Seven Suchi Seven. Do you think Second Dinner are happy with data mines as they can use them as a way of getting early thoughts on cards from some of the most experienced players, and also review comments of the general public to see how well cards being foreseen and therefore buff nerf prior to release? No, I don't think they care. I think that data mines are their I think they're advertising fundamentally. I think they use data mines. Like, data mines are some of the biggest things on Marvel Snap Zone and SnapFan. They do some of the best hits and some of the most views because people are interested in them. A lot of content creators get a lot of views out of their data mine content. Like, I know Regis, who's one of the biggest, well, the biggest Marvel Snap creator, does data mine content and it gets a ton of views. I know a lot of players don't care about data mine content, but enough do that it works as an advert and as an ad. And when people get excited about it, the word of mouth really does translate into views on these videos and stuff, which I'm sure translates to more excitement and people playing the game. So I think they use it as an advertisement, not really for like thoughts on the cards. They're trying to generate and drum up excitement. So it really does help when cards like Infinity Ultron come out that people are very excited for. Certainty of support on our Patreon come with honor. Thanks. If you're interested in our Patreon, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. Thank you to our patron of the month, Fat Nick. We've got the great Abigail Giesland, Mandatory Burnout, Irregardless, Always Kind, LAB, Inc., I Am Frostman, Hota Navarrete, Thinking Poker, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Caretix Lee, Koi Ray, Kazushi, Archangel, 3K. Oh my god, I didn't fix that. Archangel, 3K, Black Liar, Profros, The Goat Seeker, Code. Ugh, that's what I needed to fix, by the way. Hallowed, Only Fox, Synth, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Jeebus 23, Extra C and Skippy G, Jessica Campbell, Mr. Slush Death, The King of Bros, The Great Gazoo, Werewolf, Kevsey Hoda, Lunacrest, Clam, Colonel Forbin, Bricks to Click, Rob Silverman, M. Holland, David G. Wingfield, Stephen, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., Mr. Craig Sterry, Matt V., Ryan Wrench, Corwin, John Q., and Jimmy McHugh, Yes Stout, Ace Sage, One Big Man, Milkman for Reals, Cactus Jack, Reapzer. Let me know if I said that right. Welcome to our newest friend, Reapzer. BG, Quid Pro Joe, Snap Decisions Joe, Mod Supreme Models, Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan 56, The Fuzzy Lot, Spectrumix, Hoot, Aku, Laris Up Aku, Matt H, DJ Mike Hedgings, No Freaking Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Zadrex, the King of Canada, Denman Falcon, Fowler Newman, Jonesy, Two Ties, The Great Lorenz, The Parry King Tucker, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. That's it for this video. I got more for you tomorrow. I actually have like 12 decks to get. I go away 2 days and I have a million decks. So if you want more decks, make sure you keep it here. Peace.